Welcome back to Project Independence and You on Community Talk Radio 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm one of your hosts today, Rebecca Miller, along with Otto Los. And right now we are at our Talk of the Town hour with the fabulous Kristina Lou. Kristina, who of course is the radio show producer and pulls the show together every week for well into our 10th, approaching our 11th year. So it's great show as always, Kristina, really good guest. I mean, we could have gone on and on and on because like one thing leads to another, and then we all kind of remember things that happened to us related to that, which kind of which is, human nature. So, really covered a lot of stuff and, just have to be vigilant, have to be careful. I always remind my mother too of things when she's going out, like, don't forget, don't leave that thing on your car. Make sure you did, don't park far away. She never parked far away anyway, but, just the reminders. We should remind each other just during this season.
No, and I think that's a great point. It is because, and especially sharing your stories, it can make people aware of certain things that they might not have, put that, had that light bulb moment. And listen, it's a holiday season. It's a lovely time of year, obviously, with a lot of happiness. But unfortunately, it's a time of a lot of chaos. And, everyone's preoccupied. I mean, I think everyone's got 10,000 different things, on their brains at this time, and they're not really paying attention. And I think that that's really the message to get out there the most is like just to, not let your guard down and just to be kind of aware. I mean, we've all made mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I've done something careless, and I left something in the car and then that gets, this happens to, I think, all of us, and it's not, anything to be embarrassed about. It's just something to really be aware of, and to double check. And because I'm married to the man I'm married to, it's like drilled into my head to like pay attention more. So I've gotten better over the years. I used to always, and I remember he used to get so mad at me, and I would never do this now, but I'd have my pocketbook in the shopping cart and then turn my head and go look at, how many of us have done that? And now I look at it and say like, someone could really just walk by and just take, that out. And I remember when I was in college and I was like working at this clothing store and I had my pocketbook like right on the counter and it was payday and I was so excited. I had, my cash in there and I turned to get something and so there was a customer walking around the store, some guy, and came and took my wallet. And I was devastated. I was
oh my gosh.
But it's like things like, and it could happen in like the split second, so it's really, just important to, just take that extra precaution, and especially with cars.
You said something very important, Kristina, that we didn't talk about with Officer Altieri this time, but I think we did talk about it at an advisory meeting, is you said it's embarrassing. And a lot of times people are kind of ashamed when they get scammed and don't tell people, and by kind of telling people our stories, that, hey, it's not just seniors, anybody can get scammed. And sometimes you don't even know it until you get the bill in the mail.
It's like that's a good point. It's so important to a lot of us now, things are paperless and electronic. So it's not as much in your face if you're not necessarily looking for, your transactions.
Right.
So I think that because that's something that I consciously do, especially this time of year, because Lord knows what I've, been buying going on this time. So the charges rack up quite easily. So it's so important though to really look at your statement, and make sure, all right, is this a charge? Because it can get, in the mix of things, that's certainly happened to a lot of people I know, it's just all of a sudden you're like, wait, what? I didn't get that, so it's really important because unfortunately, as you guys mentioned, it's quite a hassle to undo these things. But a lot of credit cards now at least have different things where they'll, alert you or freeze that payment. There's a lot that is in there that I really think is wonderful.
Well, the alert part of it, I think, is key to all of these things. If a credit card is used and it wasn't in your hands, you can get an alert sent to you.
Yes.
So, and if it's over $50, pick a number, an alert can be sent to you.
Comes to my phone, my Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes the use of a credit card that somebody stole or the number that they picked up with the zip code a little less where you're going to get killed if somebody's not going to charge a couple $1,000s in a few minutes. I don't think. They will set
you never know.
Yeah, they can.
Well, yeah, but they usually will do a small transaction.
Yes. No, because it won't be as noticeable. Right.
So that's why I even lowered the amount if the card is not present to like $50.
Yes, absolutely.
And, then when you do get a notice that the card was used, but it wasn't in the hands of the person who used it. It was online or.
No, it's important. And it always reminds me of. I'll go back to the fabulous John Ryan, because he used to do these great presentations, about scams, and it was financial protection and stuff. And that's what he did. He did a lot of financial advice, so he would see all this stuff.
Right.
And I always stuck in my brain, because he would say, you really shouldn't be using, your debit card. If your checking account shouldn't have that much money in it, because then you're really in a tight space if that is used and taken out. So he always recommended, if you need to do something like load money on a separate card, so you can kind of control, what, God forbid, if you get scammed, what could happen and whatnot. So these are, there's little tips and tricks. And, we always say on the show, unfortunately, you can't stop the scammers, because we certainly know they're always coming out with, new things, and they'll bring back, some oldie but goodies. But it's just, I think that's why it's so important what we're doing now is just sharing, different experiences and tips, because these are little things that you put into your life. Hopefully it can kind of give you some protection, especially, my greatest fear at this time of year are packages outside.
Yeah.
Because it's, and please, between like my mom, like, oh my God, get that package. That's like, because we're just, you see it. I mean, you see it on the news. I've had packages stolen. I think it was 1 or 2 years ago. I remember, and it was so violating, it wasn't anything so amazing. It was like a little tripod thing for my iPad for like a photo booth thing and something else random. So it wasn't anything so expensive, but it was outside, and I opened my door. I was like, oh, my package, get an alert from Amazon. And there's a box of baby wipes, like a giant bulk baby wipes.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was like, so it wasn't so far-fetched in my house, because I was like, maybe somebody ordered baby wipes, who knows? So I call my mom, like, did you order like bulk baby? And we're like, what? So we're looking, and we go on the camera. I called, the police department.
You have Ring.
Well, we actually, we have like hardwire cameras. Right. And I called, the police department. I had to file a report because I sent them the videos, and you see a guy come, and, he must have saw the cameras because he was trying to, avoid it, and takes the package and replaces it with the baby wipe. So it looked like, he was just delivering a package to like, the neighbors or whatnot. And it was just I remember that feeling was just so violating, And it was around Easter time, because I remember I had like Easter bunnies outside, and it was just like, this guy walked past my Easter bunnies, and stole my package. And luckily I contacted Amazon. I mean, they're wonderful with stuff like that, but it was just one of those things. You just felt so violated that someone like, rolled up on your property, and especially with the car stuff. I mean, around this time of year, I see it all over the news. People just walking down and opening car doors and just taking their chance and finding stuff, so it's just that extra little reminder, at nighttime before you go to bed, like make sure things are locked, and it's just a little double check, I think.
Do you have to set up, like I get an alert also, a package was delivered by Amazon. I don't remember if I set that up or if it's automatic.
I believe you have to set that up, because you don't always, I don't think, I could be wrong, but and that's a good point, Otto, because there are a lot of different settings you could do, because what we did do after our incident, we have a side door, we have a front door, and then we have like our deck that's covered and has a gate, and the gate is right by the side door, and we put, and you can do in preferences, please put over there. So the Amazon guy a lot of times now we'll just like put the packages over so it's behind our gated thing on our deck, so you feel like it's more protected. So there are little things you could do. And listen, it doesn't work all the time. Not everyone always follows that, but a lot of times that is. So
we just had an experience. Our neighbor next door was in Virginia, and got an email that said her package was delivered. She sent me a text. They were going to be gone for a couple of days. She sent me a text and asked, would I get the package? So, yeah, no problem. So I think part of it is you can help reduce this by setting up alerts and maybe having a communication system with a neighbor or somebody else, a family member who lives nearby, so that they can get the packages off the stoop as quickly as possible. If they sit there all day with the mailbox stuffed, which we didn't get into with Joe Altieri before, that's an obvious sign that there's something going on. There's nobody home. You know, a lot of people from the old houses have very small mailboxes. So the mail is always sticking out all over the place. And if it's still sticking out all over the place at 2:00 in the afternoon or 4:00 or whatever, that's a good target.
You're so right. That's definitely
get a bigger mailbox.
Right.
I have a
about that.
brother-in-law who is in Homeland Security. And when I went through what I went through with my, with the unemployment collection in Ohio, he told me, some things that I kind of knew, but he said, when we are on social media and say you're on Facebook and then maybe you're on LinkedIn and maybe you're on internet, and the worst thing you could do really is fill out your profile.
Yeah.
You're basically telling everybody where you went to high school. So that's going to give away your age, where you work. So now they know your name and where you work. So they could pretty much collect so much information on you and, go apply for things, apply for credit, apply for this. We're feeding these scammers all this information about ourselves. So unfortunately, so I took down a lot. I mean, I took down my LinkedIn. I took down things that gave away information. They can find you on Facebook. You're linked to Instagram. You go to LinkedIn, and it's just like you have public conversations, giving information. And it's just, they have so much. It's like we're handing.
I know, it's stuff you don't even think of,
Yeah. And it's like, you got to really,
No, and that's what I wanted to give out those numbers again. So obviously there's, you can always call your local precinct if you're, this is, if you're watching this and you're not in the town of North Hempstead, but within North Hempstead, we have the 3rd precinct and the 6th precinct. So the 6th precinct where, Officer Altieri was from is 516-573-6600. And then you'll ask to talk to the POP officer. If you are under the 3rd precinct, you would call 516-573-6300 and ask for the POP officer as well. So we'll put those numbers up at the end of the video too. And that, of course, is not an emergency. Obviously, if it's an emergency, you call 911.
Always.
But, if it's something else that, you have a question or want to, have a comment, whatever it is about, what goes on. But I think it's really wonderful. And I have to give a shout out to the POP officers in North Hempstead because, Beck, as you had mentioned, they've been partnered with Project Independence. I know they've been at Fun Day Mondays before, and they do a lot of service in the community, and they're present at a lot of community events. And I think that that's really a nice thing to have because it's not this formal officer. It's you feel more like they're doing a community kind of not as official service.
They were doing a presentation at Clinton Martin Park about, I don't know, rough number 4 or 5 years ago. And while the police officer was up at the podium, he got a phone call. You might have been there.
Yeah.
He got a scam call
and
he played it loud so everybody could hear it. And it was very interesting that it just happened at that point in time. And he played along with it.
I mean, it just shows you, and I laugh with my home phone because and I never realized how much my home phone really rang until we worked remote, during the pandemic. And I was
it's only 98% garbage.
Yeah. I don't even have a home number anymore.
Yeah. I literally use it for it's just like part of my package and it's just kind of there. Yeah. But it's literally,
If you took it away from your package would cost more.
Yeah, right. That's what it was.
Stupid thing.
That's
true.
actually why I still have a home phone.
It's true. If you change anything, now you're not grandfathered.
Right.
I have 4 cable boxes. I want to cut it down to 3. They said, oh, it's going to cost you $30 more a month to eliminate the 1 box. I mean, that whole
you have to sell
system,
your cable box on the black market there, Otto.
yeah, I mean, that's just that whole cable thing is
that's a whole topic
not
in
picking on
itself.
any one company.
Yeah.
But it's a whole topic by itself.
Because you know what, everyone's got their issues with certain things. But, it's quite that could really be a whole topic on the radio show. But regardless, just to wrap up the scam and protection thing, I just want to really just remind everyone, this holiday season, obviously it's just to be a little more aware. We still want everyone to enjoy things and to go out, but I think it's just really being aware of your surroundings and, not and paying attention, being in the moment. I think that I know that I've been there myself too. You have 10,000 things on your brain and you're not really focusing on what you're doing. But I think that that's the number one thing you can do to, lessen your chances of, certainly being targeted during this time. So,
one of the questions, I'm sorry, but one of the questions I wanted to ask them, which I didn't get to do, was this car warranty thing. I must get at least a call a day.
Of course, yeah.
About it. And I wonder, do they ever get anybody who does anything with that?
I mean, I feel like there has to be someone. I like just laugh because it stopped for a while and then like it ramped up again. And I was like, we're back. Like this is
No, I told you that about the comedian. He said, he's like, it's like, this may work. He goes, I got a 20-year-old car. I might just buy a warranty. If they're going to sell me a warranty for my car, maybe I should just buy one. Who knows? I could get. But on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We've been talking with Otto Los, of course, co-host, and Kristina Liu, our radio show producer. It's Talk of the Town, and we have 2 segments left with Talk of the Town. We'll be right back. You've been listening to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast, and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to WCWP.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. Those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
Oh, welcome back to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm Rebecca Miller, along with co-host Otto Los and radio show producer Kristina Liu. And this is Talk of the Town, Project Independence in You, Talk of the Town. And what is going on, Kristina? I mean, the seasons are changing. We're in Hanukkah. We've got lots.
We're in the holidays kickoff, We laugh because we say, Thanksgiving comes and it's like, boom, it's Christmas, and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all those beautiful holidays. So, and especially Hanukkah, like just literally, what was it? Like 2 days after Thanksgiving, it was like, I couldn't even pay attention. So we are fully in it, and I'm in the transition in my house. I still have like some fall stuff I need to put away, and then Christmas stuff. So we're like, outside, me and Jay have been nonstop. We have to kind of finish that up this weekend, but it's a good time. It's
and you did have a little piece of the challah bread that I brought in for you.
The challah bread was A+ delicious. I was a little upset. Beck didn't bring in any latkes, which I was kind of looking forward to. There was no latkes, but the challah bread was phenomenal, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So thank you for that.
And I also did bring in brisket, so I think a lot of people...
I know I didn't get to have any brisket. I was a little upset about that.
You missed out.
But it was quite delicious. So everyone, I know Hanukkah's still gone. If you're celebrating, please enjoy. And we have in North Hempstead a lot of wonderful holiday celebrations going on. It actually kicks off today at 4 p.m. There's going to be a Christmas tree lighting over at Mary Jane Davies Green. That's right across from Town Hall in Manhasset, which is really fun because this tree lighting is going to have I believe there's hot cocoa and a little snacks, probably some little music.
Sounds good.
So it's like it's always a nice event, and it's kind of just a magical thing to see. And then Sunday, December 5th, at 3 p.m., there's going to be a menorah lighting at Mary Jane Davies Park. So that should be lovely as well. And then Friday, December 10th at 5 p.m., there's going to be a Christmas tree lighting over at the Yes We Can Community Center. So all these things, and there's music, everything's kind of got a different thing, but there's light refreshments. It's, very spirited event. So that should be really, really fun. So if you were in the area, definitely check that out. It's fun for the whole family and anyone of all ages. So check that out. I just want to get, another thing I really loved, the town, in addition to hosting its donation drive for the veterans, this year, I know we've been talking about it a lot, but I just want to remind people they're accepting gift cards. Due to the whole COVID stuff, they, normally collect certain items, but this year it's just gift cards for grocery stores and pharmacies. And if I could find the paper, I could tell you where you can drop them off. They could be mailed into Town Hall, I know, which is 220 Plandome Road in Manhasset. So I just think it's really, really important. And it doesn't have to be, it could be anything small, $5, whatever, you could afford. I just think it's really nice to give that. And it's for the Hero Hunger Help Project. So you can call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get the details on that. But in addition to that, the town is hosting a holiday card campaign for the Wounded Warrior Project. This I just thought was so nice, because you think about all the men and women serving during this time. And I know, even myself, I'm just home around this time, it's so nice to get mail that's not a bill, and you see it's a card, and it's just, it's such a nice thing. I'm old school. I like a good, a hard copy card. So I think it's really nice, especially for the men and women who are serving, to receive these. So it's just all different kinds of holiday cards you can send in a sealed envelope and drop it off at Michael J. Tully Park in New Hyde Park, the Yes We Can Community Center in Westbury, Town Hall in Manhasset, and then Port Washington Parking District, which is on Vander Vetter Avenue. So you can give you all the specifics about the actual location if you call 311. They're accepting them until December 28th. So you have plenty of time to, just write out some cards, say thank you. It's just a nice gesture. So I definitely want to do that. I think it's really, really nice. So those are just some fun little holiday things going on. I know that there's also, I actually passed it the other day and it looked quite interesting, is the Luminosity Festival.
Yes.
In North Hempstead. It's going to be until January 9th. And it's really these amazing lit up, I don't even know what they're made of, but they're quite amazing looking. And it's just, kind of a magical time to see these different beautiful, it's art. It's really art. And it is going to be at Whitney Pond Park. And you could actually park, there's parking at Manhasset, the Macy's over there. It's right next to Whitney Pond Park. I know you can park there.
And look at that. You can shop at Macy's when
That's right. You can just make a whole day of it. And you have to get tickets ahead of time, and they're time tickets. So please call 311 for information on that. But it's definitely, and I passed, this is a really nice kind of family event for the holidays. So I thought that was absolutely lovely to do. So there's certainly a lot of fun things you could do this holiday season. And it's nice because it's outdoors, which I thought was very nice too. So
did you happen to watch the Christmas tree lighting show?
I did not. I saw clips of it. I didn't get to watch.
I recorded it, and actually it was one of the better ones in a long time.
Oh.
They actually had people on who I could understand when I was singing.
Who'd they have on? I just saw the tree itself being lit.
Don't ask me to give you the names.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Carrie Underwood is one I remember.
Oh, there you go.
The group that does a cappella, there's 5 of them.
Yes.
What's the name?
I know it. It's
Plantanic or something like that.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
But they had a lot of people like that.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
So it was good. Very well done.
Yes, I'm hoping to get my tree this weekend. And hopefully, I have a lot of ambitions for this weekend. We'll see how it goes.
You'll get it all done, I'm sure.
I keep adding things to the list. But then, life happens and you have other stuff to do. But
it's going to be colder.
I know. Well, that's what, Jen, we were trying to, plan it out based on weather. So we were like up very late last night. And bless Jay's heart because he gets up quite early in the morning to go to work. But we were out because it was warm and we're like, oh, let's like get these lights all like situated and this kind of stuff. So we were running around, of course, which would only happen to us. I don't know if you guys experienced this last night, but it was like some crazy windstorm.
A windstorm. Yes.
Right.
I was going to ask you. What was
I didn't know what it was.
It was like around 10:45-ish.
I had no idea what it was.
What was that?
And it was because the temperature was beautiful. It was warm. I just had like a sweatshirt on.
It wasn't on the news or anything. And my garbage can, was
it was aggressive. And of course, it was right after, we had just like put up the lights. We had our angels, all of our nutcrackers. Everything's all, we're like, placing like cool. And then all of a sudden, I'm out there and it's just, I'm like, and I just see everything and I see the angel, tip over. I go like, running and I'm like, Jay, the angel is down. I repeat, the angel.
It was crazy. It was
angel
so crazy.
Down, angel down.
Did you hear it, Otto?
No, but I did happen to see out the window the tree was blowing pretty.
So I checked this morning. Everything is still in place, it appears. So
it came on quick and it was like, I thought it just all of a sudden started pouring. And I'm like, all of a sudden I hear garbage cans going and, the wicked witch of the east
because I'm like,
Jay,
I'm like, why didn't you know about this? Because he's always like the weatherman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was like, what's happening? He's like, I don't know what's happening. But it was quite stressful. I was like, all of our hard work, what is happening right now? But we made it through. So that's the most.
We survived.
That's right. I want to remind people next week we have another great guest. She's actually been at our advisory meetings. It's Carolyn Tinnen, and she is from Project Hope, which is a coping with COVID program. It's a New York base, but she's, Nassau County. And she was absolutely wonderful. There's a lot of great resources. We're always talking about the mental health and whatnot, and really the importance of it. And I'm glad that I feel our society is really talking about it more. I think that was always
mental health is one of the things that it really.
And I always
did
felt, even during this whole COVID thing, yes, everyone was very scared, I should say, about getting COVID itself. But I was always, the mental health component of the side effects of everything that was happening is a real thing, and certainly is important to address and to get help for. And listen, the holidays are a time as well, that as beautiful as it is and as happy and jolly and merry, everything could be, it could be very difficult for a lot of people too. So I think it's important at that time to reach out to someone and talk to them. And certainly if you're a senior, in North Hempstead, to call 311 and talk to our social workers and nurses. They have a lot of relationships with seniors in the community for years now. And I think it's nice that, they can get phone calls and just, they can reach out to you and check in and, help you with different services and get you connected. It's nice. A lot of programs, may be in person now that you can go to, but there's still a lot of, virtual things as well. So the first step is always just to call a social worker or nurse, and you don't even need to know what you need. That's what I always tell people. You could just say, I just know I need services, I need help. And, that's what the social worker and nurse are there to help you with. So
is Neighbors Helping Neighbors still going?
Yeah, it's still going on, of course. So if there's, people, it's really based upon some relationships might have, finished or whatnot. So it's kind of based on, their mutual little contract about how they want to handle things. But it is absolutely still a program. So if people are interested in, volunteering or receiving phone calls, listen, and the colder weather is coming, not just a COVID kind of thing. The cold weather's coming. I'm praying that we just get through it without snow. I'm like totally fine with no snow. I want to be very clear on all of that. And it's hard, a lot of people aren't going out, even if it's just so cold, sometimes you just don't want to. So I think even more so, it's nice to, Otto, I'm glad you brought up that program. So
yeah,
that is that. On top of that, there's a lot of other Project Independence programs that are going on this month. Of course, we still have our caregiver support group, which is virtual still at this time. It's a wonderful group of men and women who are all at different stages of the caregiving process, which I always admire because they really take the newer people, the newer members under their wings and kind of walk them through very difficult stuff. So I think that's an amazing group. And if you fall under that category, I highly recommend joining that. We also have a Golden Hearts bingo group that meets at Roslyn Community Center. What's great about that group is that there are nurse and social worker, Krista and Joanne, facilitated. So on top of playing bingo, you're able to get blood pressure screenings and kind of just talk to the social worker and nurse, face to face, which is really, really special. So that you can do, and that is in person.
Bingo could make their blood pressure go up.
That's right. But hopefully, come back down. So
you ever been to a serious bingo game?
Oh, I have been. And listen, our office is, in there's a lot of senior groups that meet where we are at Clint G. Martin Park. And I've heard, they're quite intense, those bingo things. So
I mean,
sometimes they have like 30 or 40 cards. Boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious
Listen, I get overwhelmed at like bridal shower or baby shower bingo, half the time. So I give props to those who are fully committed to the whole bingo process. But that is a program we are doing. There's also a new group that's just starting up. It's going to be on December 2nd, 9th, and 16th. It's facilitated by Sharzad Moadel, who is one of our PI case social workers. And it's really, she started because a lot of seniors that were coming up to her were asking questions about COVID and just kind of coping with it and just kind of, adjusting to things. I think that's the most difficult thing. I've expressed my own issues, with it. And this seniors, some are scared. Everyone's at different places. So it's a kind of a group space where you can talk about these things and just little tips on how to kind of navigate this new normal. So that's at the Great Neck Social Center. At 11 a.m. on December 2nd, 9th, and 16th. So please call to register for that. We still have our social discussion group that is virtual. The group wanted to remain virtual. So that is also on Thursdays at 11:30. So you can join that via Zoom. We have our men's group, which is in person. And that meets at the Hillside Library on Fridays at 10:30. So there's just like a lot of great little things in, and I like that, if you want to be in person or not in person, there's kind of something for everyone. Our St. Francis Cardiac Screening Van has its last date for the year, which is December 2nd. Oh, that passed. My bad. It is
yesterday.
I didn't realize today was December 3rd. Just looked at my calendar. But it will be back for multiple dates in 2022. So do not fret. They have all kinds of locations. I think the next one is actually going to be in March, which will probably be here before any of us realize it, the way things are going.
Just like that.
It's really, I just can't, I didn't even know what day it was today, guys. Yes, we can. Friday programs are still going strong. There's everything from exercise with NYU Langone, fall prevention kind of program they do there. There's Color Me Calm, which I personally love. And then What in the World is Going On is a current events group. So that's all kicks off at 9:30 a.m. on Fridays. So there's a couple more Fridays, obviously in December, and then if we get January date, 2022 date.
So for, you do need to call 311 because I do believe that because of, we're still following guidelines and social distancing. So we do have a little bit of a waiting list for the NYU Langone Tai Chi balancing program. So,
and that's the case, but I want to remind people, to do that with any of these programs to really qual, because there are space limitations, and there's also date changes sometimes. Things happen, protocol changes. I mean, I think we all have to kind of, we've accepted, being in this fluid kind of state of understanding. So I think that it's so important to always call and just double check and say, is this available? Is this still happening? And whatnot.
All right, well, I think we have to take a quick break, and then we're approaching our last segment. You've been listening to Talk of the Town with Kristina Lou, and this is Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We will be right back.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
And welcome back to Project Independence in You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm your host, Rebecca Miller, along with co-host Otto Los and radio show producer who makes this all happen, Kristina Lou. We're in the last segment of the show, again, going super fast, and talk of the town. Kristina is filling us in on what's going on, and looking forward to next week too. The Project Hope sounds really good. So what else is shaking? Bacon?
Yeah, well, we have we were mentioning before the break, all these different programs that are going on over at PI and the Cornell Cooperative Extension this month. Their theme is they do a little series at Magnolia Gardens, and this one is Comfort Foods Made Healthy, which I really like that. I was very into that name. I was very intrigued myself.
Yeah, comfort food. I like that.
And we've had Nicole on our radio program. She did our advisory, and she is wonderful.
That was so funny, Kristina. So we had her do our Project Independence advisory, and she was talking about mindful eating during the holidays, and everyone was like, "No, what do you mean? That's the only time." No. So I mean, it was funny. We were all like,
"Yeah," and she's and as I say, I can't say enough wonderful things about her. Because it's not overwhelming. You're able to really adapt different things that she says. It's not these scary tyrants. So you can't do that. Don't even look at the cake.
Just be mindful.
Right. She's really realistic. And this one is about comfort food. It's about different tweaks and that can be done to a comfort food that can make it healthy and more nutritious, which I think is really interesting. So that is on December 15th, which is my mommy's birthday. And one of our radio show family members, David Linden's birthday also. I'll never forget his birthday because he shares it with my mom. So that is it's definitely something I think people should check out. So
next Friday is my son's birthday.
Oh, there you go. A lot of birthdays.
I know. Will be 26.
December, I have a lot of December people in
my
birthday. So it just really adds to the chaos of everything that goes on. So
that mindful eating, that mindful eating is very interesting. I find that I've been thinking a lot more about mindful in general. Like whatever you're doing, you try to me, mindful is like focus, get in on it. It's interesting.
It's funny you said that because I definitely, you hear that word a lot. We talk about it even on the show a lot. You see it, and it's kind of like the new hot buzzword.
I may have to put this thing on mute. The gutter guy is here. I don't know if you hear the noise.
I don't hear anything. You're okay. You're fine. I don't hear anything.
I don't know if they're cleaning the gutter. It sounds like they're breaking it.
You heard it here first. But the mindful thing out of that's a great point. It's really just being present and focusing, at its core, on, whatever task it might be, in all realms of life.
Do you hear that?
And I definitely struggle with that myself because there's 10,000 thoughts in my brain at all times. But it's something that I too have been really trying. So if I'm doing something, it's just, focusing on that and just kind of being in that moment. So I think it's not easy all the time, but I think it's something that can be beneficial and make you appreciate, whatever you may be doing.
So I taught a yoga class this morning. And the most important thing I try to teach people when they come to class, especially the class I teach is like a restorative morning class. So is that you're there for you, right? You're coming to yoga for you. This is about you. You can't spend the entire time you're on the mat thinking about what you have to do later. Either you commit to it or you don't. And part of my language is be mindful. And what I mean by mindful is mindful of yourself. So you have to think about yourself. It's so hard for people. Like it takes a long time to kind of get people in that thought process. Like, we all, you have to really kind of undo it at first. Like, I know that we're thinking about this and you're thinking about that, but you came here for you. Be mindful, be kind to yourself. Being mindful is really taking care of yourself too. So be aware, listen to your body, listen to the messages you're getting, be aware of yourself, and take care of yourself, basically. Mindful is such a broad term. It can really be used in so many ways, but if you think about it, it's about taking care of yourself. Look at yourself, listen to your body. Are you surrounding yourself with people that aren't good for you? Take the time for yourself. So anyway, it was just, I was talking a lot about that in class.
But that's important, because like you said, it is such a broad thing, and I think it can turn a lot of people off because they're like, whoa, sounds way too, like complex of, a thing. But I just always think it's interesting, because even when we had the topic of mindful eating, like everyone's like, mindful eating, like you don't normally see those two, words together, but it really is something that can pertain to so many things. And it is hard. I like what you said, Beck, about a lot of it is kind of undoing what you're so used to doing, and it's definitely a struggle. I mean, I know I struggle with it, that's why I can never just like turn off, and just be, it's like put everything else, like, close the blinds on everything else and just be
in that kind but it's only for the moment, like you're not, you just have to kind of get, you start out doing 1 second.
Right.
You take a second and you just kind of take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, you soften, you just let everything go. You imagine that it floats away, so if you give yourself, if you allow it yourself a second or 5, and then tomorrow it's,
and it goes a long way,
eventually, eventually you're going to be able to be more mindful of what, your messages, your body's telling you, so.
Well, I have to say, Beck, that the golden nuggets we always talk about on this show, that we take away, there's something I meant to tell you this the other day. I was going for a walk with my brother, his fiance, and my husband. We've been trying to like just go to different places and walk around, and I made everyone stop because I was talking about, I'll never forget when you had shared what one of your friends had told you, who I think she's some kind of lung specialist or does something, and it's about the 3 deep breaths every hour. And just how it has beneficial things for like numerous, reasons.
Right.
So I was like, everyone stop. I want everyone to take 3, and everyone, I was like, it's not that hard. It's doable, because I'm all about like something that I can adapt in life that's not like super overwhelming, but it's just like little things that can help you, for so many different reasons.
Right.
So Beck, I thought you'd be very proud that I was stopping the troops.
It is so important. I mean, it really came about when, I had COVID. That was last year. And my best and dearest, oldest friend is a respiratory therapist. And she said, those are the most important things that when seniors come in or anybody comes in and you're seated for a long time, people get pneumonia in the hospital. They're not coming in with pneumonia, but because you're not moving around what's happening in your lungs. So if you take those 3 deep breaths in, you expand your lungs, right? So you're moving around. Maybe if you have a little plug somewhere, you're gonna jug it. It's gonna move around, and then you release and exhale to let go of the tension. But if people do that, it builds muscle. It's the lung capacity.
Right, it benefits in so many different things, And listen, I even have adapted even more, a lot of times, where we are, you're wearing a mask for a long extended period of time. And that in itself can be like,
Right. Yes.
So especially once, I'm in the place where I can, remove the mask, I take that moment to like, just be, all right, let's get this,
Nice.
deep
Proud
breaths
of
in.
you.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
see,
the gutter guy is gone now, so I
So you
shut
can
myself
talk again.
off. It was bad. But anyhow, mindful, like what we were talking about, when you walk, I see so many people that are on their phone when they're
Yeah.
walking. So they're really not mindful
yeah,
of walking and
True.
seeing what's going on around them. They probably get home and they have no idea what they saw.
true.
You know, so I believe that there's a little therapeutic value to
Absolutely.
being mindful when you
Absolutely.
walk, like seeing, windows blocked by bushes or, whatever.
No, you're so right. Otto, we talked about that a lot. I remember like when, the pandemic first had kicked off and we were saying what we've just been like kind of walking around the neighborhood and whatnot. And it was something that I totally never really did, like I was never fully paying attention to. I just be, whatever. But doing that, and it was just so lovely. You'd walk around and you were like noticing like all kinds of different things that you never paid attention to, whether it was like a tree or a landscape. I mean, my husband didn't necessarily like it because I'd come home and be like, all right, so I saw this tree I really like, or I saw this like bush. So it would always be like some kind of idea I would be coming home with. But I think you're right. I think it does have a huge therapeutic thing, and it's something obviously I think I want people to know we're not like walking around like everyone's just so, zen and relaxed 24/7. But, it's important to, as Beck said, for those little moments to take that and then hopefully they add up to be, bigger moments of kind of just, tuning out, the world. And Otto had a great point because I am guilty sometimes of, I'll be on the phone. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why can't I just need to like get off the phone and just like walk without like a 24/7 like stimulus, going on. So
yeah, it's
good point.
It's hard to put that phone down, let me tell you.
That's a topic it's a serious topic, really.
It is.
As you well know, I'm into technology and I use the cell phone, the smartphone for everything now. I just got an app for making the shopping list, and the whole bit that goes along with it. But it is very addictive, in my opinion, super addictive.
Of course.
It's like if you're sitting there doing nothing, the tendency is to pick the phone up. If you're standing on a line waiting for something, you take the phone. If you're in a room with people sometimes just pick the phone up as opposed to talking to somebody.
And you don't even like, because full disclosure, I found myself do that at times, because I'm like, and you just like, and you're like, and you don't even know why. Like, you're like, I just picked up my phone to look at it. I don't have anything to particularly look at. I wasn't like, have like a question burning in my brain. And I'm like, why did I just do this? Like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even.
Well, it is addictive. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
John's son-in-law was on the show. He actually does a taekwondo.
That's the guy from the gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his interview always struck me, and it was so wonderful. And I actually got a couple of phone calls about his interview that people saw when it was on North Hempstead TV, because it really was a very inspirational interview. And he was saying, there was like little tips, and he was just saying, like, you wake up in the morning. How many of us wake up, you immediately grab your phone and look and see what's going on? I mean, I'll check an email, everyone's got these news alerts, check a text message. I mean, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But what I really tried, he said, you wake up, give yourself like 5 to 10 minutes of just not looking at the phone. Like, just wake up, get into gear, and then look at your phone. So I was like, all right, I really try. I'm like, because it's my instinct, because it's part of me is like, oh God, what is today bringing? I need to be prepared.
Well, do you ever wake up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, that's like my golden hour.
And do you ever put your phone on then?
Yeah, because I do look, because I haven't been. I have to stop, and that's the problem, because I'm always trying to avert some kind of crisis, whether it's whatever it might be in personal life or outside. And you always just want to like be prepared, because most of it is just me trying to prepare myself, like, so I could just like know what is like going to happen. But it really isn't. It's so terrible because, it's right by your bedside. So you roll over and you wake up, let me just check, but it's something that you really, because as you said, Otto, it is an addiction and you have to really take active steps to work on not being, and that's what I've been trying when I'm out with my friends or my family. I love to take photographs. That's just something I've always loved. So that's why my phone will be out, but I'm like, this could be only to take a picture. I can't be looking up anything or checking social media or whatever it is. It's let me just get this, photo in. And so I try to do these.
You have to be mindful.
Yes. No, but
Yes.
Time on the phone.
It's true. Yeah. And because what they have now to really make you feel mindful is those reports that will pop up about how much
it tells
time.
You how long you're on.
And it's oh my God.
Yesterday I was leaving my house. I had, my laptop bag, my pocketbook, my lunch bag, another bag, my coat on my arm because it was kind of warm. And I'm walking to my car, coming down flights of steps. And all of a sudden I hear this scary, scary alarm. So whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm looking around and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, I get to my car and I open my car door. It's getting louder. And I look down and I had my phone in my hand and I called 911. When you power off the phone and it says you can either power off or
yes.
911. I was screaming. I waiting to see helicopters coming.
Oh my God, poor Fred.
It was hysterical. I'm like, okay.
Your mic went away.
Oh yeah, your mic got a little low. You might have tapped it.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I got kind of excited.
Yes, I know. Listen, I think that's happened to all of us. But that's something, speaking of being mindful, I really try because it's something simple. So when you first wake up in the morning, in addition to what you also said, is to drink a cold glass of water because then your body has to heat it up. So it starts working. So that's right. Fun little golden nugget. These are the golden nuggets I've collected in my brain over these 10 years of doing the show. So I try to do that, and I really try to not immediately pick up my phone. It's hard.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
You're too young, both of you, I think, to have any aches or pains while you're sleeping.
She's young, Otto.
Well, it happens. Your shoulder hurts, this hurts.
Yeah.
However you're laying. And that cold water thing, that was a golden nugget that I kept. You have to get blood rushing to the joint areas that are hurting. And then it subsides, it goes away, usually.
Yeah, or you could also, my mom's golden trick is, because she'll get those horrible Charlie horses often. And she just has yellow mustard, little yellow mustard, and you just pop that in your mouth and will help with the Charlie horse.
Really? Yellow mustard.
That's a Barbara golden nugget. And that actually was also on the radio show. And I forgot who was talking about it, but someone had mentioned it early.
What's in it that makes that?
Don't ask, don't know.
Wait, what kind of mustard? Because that's
straight up yellow mustard,
yellow mustard.
OG yellow mustard. Yeah.
All right.
In a pill or?
No, it's just the packet. She's got a bottle. She squeezed bottles in her mouth. She's had packets.
Really? Yeah.
How long does it take to kick out the cramp?
Quick.
Yeah.
It's a fast acting thing. Yeah.
I've heard magnesium. Now, I don't know if there's magnesium in mustard.
Yeah, because that's what they said with bananas sometimes would help.
That's
wasn't it?
Potassium.
Yeah.
Potassium, magnesium.
But it was, the yellow mustard was the other trick. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the science behind it. But there was a guest that talked about it on the radio show, and I wish I could remember who it was, but.
I like mustard on a sandwich, but I'm not too sure I can handle it by just.
Well, you know what, Otto? When you got that Charlie horse, it's I think at that point it's
maybe
quite
that's
funny. See my mom just straight up squirt a bottle in her mouth, to get rid of that pain. it's quite the sight.
Well, it's that time. What a great show! Thank you so much, Kristina, for putting together another incredible show. Great guests, great information as always. Otto, the best co-host, and Dan, thank you so much for Project Independence in You on Community Talk Radio, 88.1 FM, WCWP.org. Everyone have a great, mindful weekend.